item number 11. And can I ask John Nash and Chair of the Waiheke Local Board, Kath Hanley, please to come forward. My apologies, Kath, for keeping you waiting for such a long time. This is a recommendation to seek a delegation to the local board on Waiheke to make land use and development decisions over the land at Matiatia, and this is in line with an earlier resolution by this governing body to look at a trial delegation of functions where appropriate to the local board. Kath, I think I'll ask you just to lead off, and then John to talk to the paper.
Thank you very much, Mr Mayor and councillors, for the opportunity. Just a correction, my name is misspelt in your minutes.
Oh, yes. N. It shouldn't have a D there.
No, it should have an N.
But it should have...
ND.
ND. Okay, I know, it's right on mine. It's right on mine. Yeah.
Just to backtrack slightly, this is for, I think for you, but particularly for the Waiheke Local Board, a watershed decision, and that the you have as a governing body decided to set up the Waiheke governance pilot, and although there are a number of ways that that is being implemented on the ground at the moment, this is the first major delegated authority that we have sought, and it is with respect to Matiatia, which is also our Oli, or as I call it, our onesie, which features very largely in both the RLTP and also the LTP with respect to potential funding for the major redevelopment of Matiatia. It has stalled now for 13 years, and in that time, obviously, growth in population and the number of commuters, but really dramatically the number of tourists, has exacerbated what is a highly congested area for a major transport hub, which that is. So it connects everybody on our island with, other than through the car ferry, with the mainland. So I do seek your support here today in this delegation to the local board to enable us to lead the development. We're actually highly motivated to do this, and I think one advantage is that if responsibility is shifted to the local board, it will be sheeted home by every single person on Waiheke at local board level, and locals that will help to shift perceptions over time with respect to Auckland Council, and particularly Auckland Transport and other CCOs. So I think there is that advantage. But the main one is that we are there, we have been working with the community, we are working with all the agencies involved, and this would give us the opportunity now to move this forward finally. So thank you very much for the opportunity, Mr Mayor.
Thank you very much, Kath, and thank you for keeping it so concise and to the point. We could take questions of Kath now, or we could hear from John as well, and then questions to either. I intend to move in the latter path, unless there's any objections to that. John, if you'd like to speak to the paper.
Thank you, Your Worship. Obviously, a lot of time has already elapsed this morning. I'm equally happy to answer questions or give a brief summary if some members wish to have a summary of the paper and the intent.
Thank you very much. That was even briefer. I've had an indication from Councillor Coe wishes to move it, and maybe Councillor Lee, as the local member, would like to second it. Okay, so let's open it up to questions. I think it's pretty straightforward, but let's open it up to questions first. Councillor Wayne Walker.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally don't have any issues. Just got 2 or 3 quick questions. First off, there isn't, I don't think, any proposal to sell any of the land in question. Is that correct?
That's correct. And also that power can't be delegated anyway. But no, there is no intention.
And the reasoning for that, is it because it's of a strategic nature, or?
All of the land down at Matiatia is of a strategically high value. So it is a very small footprint for a very large amount of traffic, whether that's foot traffic, cycling traffic, public transport, tours and commuting.
Okay, and as far as the land that we lease, I'm assuming we get a good return on that lease.
We don't get that information in terms of it being current, but our understanding is, or our estimates, best estimates are that at the moment it's giving somewhere between a 4 and 5% return, and that's without it being actively managed. So there are a lot of other commercial opportunities and opportunities for revenue sit within the footprint, but the way in which it's configured at the moment doesn't maximise return.
So part of the exercise here on the part of the Waiheke Local Board is that you'll effectively be more directly involved in the active management, and we could expect arguably more use and more return.
We would be responsible for governance, not management.
Yep.
But the answer is yes, we'll be overseeing very closely the management of that and the decision making.
And the
with
last
respect
question,
to that.
just in terms of the return on the leases, is that going to be going to the coffers of the Waiheke Local Board for local improvements or the like, or does that go into the general coffers?
Through the Chair, Councillor, at the moment it's Panuku return on commercial leases and Auckland Transport for parking. So the Auckland Transport return on parking would continue to be with Auckland Transport. The intention is that the commercial leases transfer to community facilities. There is a commercial lease team there, so there's obviously, as Kath was alluding to, a significant upgrade of some of those facilities needed, but because the local board and community facilities will be working together on this, there's an opportunity in terms of the return to achieve some direct outcomes there that satisfy the local board as well.
So am I hearing that part of the idea is that some of the return from the area can go to the local board so it can activate the improvements? Is that what I'm hearing? Or
Through the
not?
Chair, there will need to be further discussion with the Community Facilities commercial team about how that actually plays out, but in terms of improvements at Matiatia, that's certainly one of the intentions.
Okay. There being no other questions, we'll move to comments now. Is there any councillor that would wish to comment on this? I think it'll have widespread support. Councillor Fletcher.
Your Worship, I think that this is a wonderful move to confer the governance onto the local board is the smart thing to do. For those who are new to the politics of Waiheke, this has just been such a long simmering issue. Far too much has been put into the pockets of lawyers on the matter, and it's actually time to empower the community to ensure that some appropriate development can take place. So can I commend John, can I commend Kath for coming along today? I think I'd really encourage everyone to support it. It's long overdue.
Thank you very much. Councillor Clow.
Yeah, at the workshop at 1 o'clock, you will find that we've subdivided the Ollies, which were advocacy items. So let's be quite clear, that was how it was. It wasn't necessarily a local board thing. It was an advocacy item, but we've separated 5 of them into transport-related initiatives, and 6 are under sub-regional, and the rest are going to be coming from the Ollie budget. So just say this is one of the 5 in the transport-related initiatives that are covered by fuel tax or regional land transport plan. So this aligns and will happen. So.
Thank you very much. Councillor Wayne Walker.
Yeah, I really want to speak in support of this, Mr. Chair. And I'm really encouraged that the land is being retained, because quite obviously it has a strategic purpose, as I would suggest exists elsewhere around the region. I'm encouraged that the local board is going to be able to activate the area and make more of it, so that not only does the local board benefit financially, but activation and placemaking and so on, and I'm assuming that placemaking as part of this will happen. So this is this is really good and might be a model for what could happen in other locations around the region.
Thank you very much. If there's no other speakers, sorry, Kathy.
Just to
Casey.
say woohoo, and my Save Matia Tia t-shirt could be worth a lot of money in the future. Well done.
It's a museum
Great.
piece. Just to indicate my strong support for this is totally consistent with the decision that this governing body has made to run a pilot project to devolve appropriate decision making to a local board, and for that matter entirely appropriate with the commitment that I personally made to people in Waiheke about that. This is a classic example of a decision that the governing body of actually a couple of councils has failed to resolve over a very long period of time, and a decision that is singularly important to Waiheke and that doesn't need to be consistent with a decision that this body makes on a regional basis. I also note that it's consistent with the Local Government Commission's report, both its general support for the trial of devolution, but also its specific proposal in regard to passing to the local board a strong input on the future of Mātiatia. This doesn't give away control of regulatory matters that have to be dealt with over the region. It is dealing with a specific issue, and there is no group better aware and informed and committed to solving this problem than the people of Waiheke as represented on their local board. So I strongly support the recommendations ahead of us. Our expectations as a governing body are set out, and I don't think, Kath, any of those will come as a surprise or a shock to you, but I think we've landed in exactly the right place. So thank you for the work that you and the board have put in, Kath, and John, thank you for your commitment in this area as well. I'll put the resolution, the recommendations have been moved and seconded. All those in favour please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. Carried. That was a very long time to wait for a rapid passing of the motion.
Thank you
thanks
very
much.
much.
9,000 hectares on Waiheke. This is 8.7.
Yeah, it's quite an important 8.7, councillor, at that.
Thank you very